We are families, we are caregivers, we are parents to children with disabilities and medical complexities. We are rarely familiar. We get together to learn, to relate, and to laugh a lot while we share each other's unique family experiences of raising the rarest of the rare. Our goal is to unite, inspire, educate, and empower people living a rarely familiar life. And we're so glad you're here. Hi, welcome to Rarely Familiar. This is Haley here with my friends Jen and Tram, where we dig into the realities of raising the rarest of the rare. Today, we're going to get familiar with Patty Dunn from Highland Friendship Club. But before we do that, as always, let's check in. It's summer, where we just passed the 4th of July weekend. I feel is like the true start of summer to me, where it's hot and you want to be outside and there's fireworks. Anybody do anything fun?
Jen, you went somewhere fun.
I did. For me, 4th of July is like a marker of, oh my gosh, summer feels halfway over. It's kind of,
Oh, I didn't.
I feel, oh my gosh. Yeah, I took Julian and my other son, Mackay, with my mother up to Lutzen area on the North Shore. And we found a cabin, and I'm sure it was like a cancellation because it was like this darling cabin. And we just explored. We went to Grand Marais for fireworks, which was amazing. If you guys ever get up there, it's
That's
like
good to know.
it's in the harbor, and you can find a place to sit. It's fireworks over the water. It was just amazing. Julian was completely immersed in them. I was watching people sitting by us. For 1 second, he had his hands over his ears like he was.
Yeah, we have to use like noise canceling headphones. Loves
And then
them
the
with
next minute,
noise-canceling headphones.
yeah. And then the next second, he's standing up with his hands in the air like he's at church.
Oh.
And then he's dancing, and he comes back, and then he's blah, 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 and he's just full body. It was like the second show. It was fun. So, yeah. So that was our 4th.
That's fun. Felix loves the fireworks, but it's like he loves watching them, but it's sensory overload. We figured out the sweet spot is like hearing aids out, noise canceling headphones on, and then he's all about it.
Yeah.
But if they start and that has not happened, he freaks out.
The fireworks really good over Minnetonka area.
Yeah, we like went out on the public dock of Excelsior, and we've got a great spot. Ended up sitting next to another gal who wears AFOs, and so we bonded, and it was really cool. And we just had a beautiful spot, and I supplied the entire dock with bug spray. And we were.
Oh, I thought you were going to say margaritas or something.
Bug spray or margaritas, you decide. 4th of July, it's just too hot. So I don't even bother taking Sadie out unless it's like the perfect weather. It's not worth it for me to take her out.
Is that hard for you, Trum, to not get out?
We didn't plan anything, but now I'm like, oh, that means 4th of July next year will be on a Saturday. So then I should plan something. I'm horrible at planning summertime. But Sadie finally made it back to summer school. So that's my excitement. She started this week. It started 2 weeks ago because she finally got over her infection. But the highlight that I want to share is, so we got to go to Joe Carr. He is like a local celebrity amongst the Gillette crew and Richfield. He was actually the marshal of the Richfield 4th of July parade.
But we went to the parade. Yeah, we
Yeah,
went to the parade. That was awesome.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
He found me on Facebook because of the adult size changing table legislation. And I normally don't friend people I don't know, but I was like, all right. I looked him up and I was like, all right, I should be friends with him. But he does the lemonade stand for people who aren't local for raising money for Gillette for the past 10 years. And in the 10 years that he's done the lemonade stand, he's raised over $70,000 for Gillette.
You are kidding.
For the bike fund. He does it because adaptive bikes have to be done through waivers. And if you're not on a waiver, and it's just a large chunk of money. So he does it for the bike fund.
I think it's been an evolution over the 10 years, what it started as and what it is now. It's just amazing.
Is he like on a corner, like a designated corner every year at the same place?
No, quiet place in front of his house. And it's not very far from us, but he's just gotten the word out and people come. And so he had the Richfield Fire Department come, and he had the Twins mascots.
Okay, so it's a well-known.
He was in the news.
So Patty, I'm sure, has a connection with him just for her years at Gillette. So I'm going to kind of segue here because we are excited to talk about Highland Friendship Club. I'll give Patty's bio. She's been the executive director at HFC Highland Friendship Club since 2020. She raises awareness, funds, support for all the HFC programs and is passionate about creating communities of inclusion. Her priority is to ensure that HFC members have a place to make friends, be heard, and know that they belong. Welcome, Patty.
Welcome.
Thanks for being here.
So happy to join you all. Thanks for having me.
Patty and I met probably 10, 12 years ago when my husband was living across the street from one of Patty's friends through neighbors. I somehow ended up at a game night as a sub. Patty was there. I work for Gillette. And I'm like, gosh, if I ever went back to work, I would consider that. Well, that's the only thing I would consider.
Patty, you were at Gillette in the role of marketing. Is that what I
I
understand?
was communications, PR, and then the marketing department. Spent about 9 years there getting to know our patients like Joe Carr. And when I first met him, he was a young guy and smiling all the time. So I love that his lemonade stand is still going. Just a beautiful.
Patty, tell us, what is your fun fact that you're going to share with us?
Oh, gosh, my fun fact ties back to Gillette as well. I have a lot of great times there, but there was one day I got a call at about 1:00 from Lady Gaga's manager. And I just pretended like that was just any other day. And she said that Lady Gaga would like to come by and see our patients. And I was like, fantastic. I'll have to plan for that at 3:00 today. So an hour and a half later, Lady Gaga was in our hospital visiting every one of our patients because we had a rule that you can't just come and visit 1 or 2 patients. You have to visit everyone. And she said, that's fine. She was in town performing and came through, and one of the most genuine, kind, intense people I've ever met. But the fun fact is that one of my absolute highlights of any day in my career was when a patient asked her to start to sing a song for him. And so she said, all right. And she started singing. And I swear the entire hospital just filled with this like electric energy of just her singing just right in the middle of a patient room. And I started to cry, to be honest, but that's not terribly unusual. But that was a day I'll never forget at Gillette or really anywhere else.
That's
That's
a good
amazing.
fun
What was she in the rehab unit?
She
Or where
came
was she?
There's 60 patient rooms total. So she did all of them.
Wow.
And went to visit everybody. And it
Oh my
took
goodness.
a couple hours. Yeah. So she spent some time there.
How
And-
kind and generous.
Yeah.
And there are moments like that just, it fills you with tears and like you get your little tinglies and you're like, there are amazing human beings in the world.
There really are. And I absolutely love the celebrities, the people with a big audience who know how to use it, but don't use it in a self-serving way. She was pretty incredible.
Real deal.
Patty, I lived at Gillette this winter with my son Julian, who's in the hospital. Yeah, in the rehab unit, and had some twins players, celebrities come through, and so got a taste of that. But Lady Gaga would have been amazing.
Yeah.
That's just wow, very cool. So then you shifted careers, moved. Can you tell us a little bit about? First, we have to ask, what is your tie-in to the disability community?
It is through Gillette is where I was first introduced, and I had worked in PR and marketing for many years, but not specifically with people who had disabilities. I did know at that point I wanted to work somewhere that was mission driven. And so it was a very intentional decision, but otherwise I didn't have a specific length of experience or familiarity. That's where it started. And when you start meeting people like Joe Carr and realizing how incredible of a resource Gillette is to the area, but mostly the families. And I don't know if any of Joe's mom, but she was one of the first moms I met that I thought strength, resilience, and I have learned so much from that. So it was my time at Gillette and that led into Highland Friendship Club. So it's very much this overlapping communities. I'd heard of Highland Friendship Club while I was at Gillette, and then the transition it made a lot of sense.
I remember you telling me about Highland Friendship Club, and I was kind of like, That sounds awesome, but I could only deal with what was in front of me, and I think the criteria was age 13. I'm like, "That is so far away right now. I'll talk to you when I get there."
Yeah, it is 13 and older. Highland Friendship Club started in 2002. Two moms changing the world, as you do. Two moms realized that their sons who had disabilities, when they hit those middle school years, that's when things socially change for all of us, right? Not just for people with disabilities. So middle school isn't always the easiest, but what they found happened is that where the community programs and sports at school and all of that steps in for students at that age, for those with disabilities, they drop off. It's there are no longer invitations to birthday parties that go to everyone in the class. That stops. Everyone starts segmenting off to whether they're in the theater program or the baseball team or whatever. And they decided to create opportunities for their sons because they realized that they were just being dragged to their siblings' activities. On Friday nights, they were home with their parents. Nobody wants that. And our founders, Pat Leisman and Rosemary Fagrilis, will tell you they didn't want that either. They were ready to have them branch out. So they started with a walking club on Saturday mornings and just word of mouth, let's get together, anyone. And the first week they had 8 members, I think, that showed up. And they realized very quickly that there was a need. And so the walking clubs evolved. They realized their sons were starting to walk without them and their hearts just burst. The further they got away, we all know that feeling and it hurts. Yet that's what you want. So that was 23 years ago. And today we have 250 members active at any given time. We're growing 35 plus programs a week, fitness and art and music and adventure days and museum trips and going to sports games at the local schools. So we're thriving and there is a need.
My son is the perfect age. Yeah.
So he's really transitioning into that teenage years. Hormones are crazy regardless of if you are neurotypical or you have a disability. And so it's critical that these kids find something.
But it's so true that just we go through life, we're so caught up in raising our kids, and our kids are on a different path. And so for those two moms to recognize that at this age, this is where kids are finding their like groups. What are we familiar with? What is our type of people? And so our kids are often left out. We had a show 2 weeks ago, and the guest said, our kids are always last. They're always last to the lunchroom. They're always last on the bus. They're always last to the party. And yeah, the birthday parties aren't inviting all the kids. So can you tell us, what are the typical kids that are showing up, or teenagers to this? Our kids are very medical complex. Mine is less medically complex, more behavior, intellectual disability. So there a range, or like, how would you describe like the typical?
So when we started and the founders' sons were in middle school, they're still very involved. So they're 40 years old now.
Wow.
So it's the age range is broad, and we put a lot of thought into, do you want 13-year-olds with older? And the answer is yes, and it depends. And in some ways, we have so many different programs that there's a lot to choose from. We include anyone of any type of disability. Most of our members have intellectual and developmental disabilities. So autism is the condition that shows up most frequently in our members, but anyone is welcome. And because it is such an inclusive environment, it works because anyone can come and find their place and find the certain activity. We always ask members coming in, what do you like to do? I love arts and crafts, or I love music, or whatever it is, that they can find their spot. But at the core of it, skill building, become strong self-advocates, and it's just making friends and
having that social outlet.
So however that works with people who are like you or not like you or completely different is what makes it work.
Are you based in Highland Park, St. Paul?
We were born in Highland Park. Our office now is in Falcon Heights, but a key tenet of what we're doing is that we're out in a community. So we want to, as our founder, Pat Leisman, always says, we want to see and be seen. Get out to a coffee shop and to different places and make sure wherever they're going that they interact and make friends with people who are not part of Highland Friendship Club. So we're St. Paul heavy, but Twin Cities active.
Do you follow like a cadence of when you publish activities? Do you do summer,
Yeah.
fall, winter? How do you change up your
Yeah.
programming so if someone wanted to look at it?
That's exactly what we do is we break it into 3 semesters throughout the year: summer, fall, winter, and spring. And so there's certain classes that bowling. Our members love bowling, absolutely love bowling. So there will always be a bowling class. It might switch a day, but for some of the classes, they remain at the same time year round. But then you can look at those semesters and a program catalog comes out and you can see what's up. A lot of the mainstays will be there, but we might have added a theater performance when a session we'll contract with Northern Stars Theater or someone who's more skilled than we are at putting on a theater performance. And then that culminates with a big show at the end. It's classes, it's performance. We have the photography club but yeah, it's split up in those semesters.
And then what are the fees or how do you sign up? Do you sign up online? Do you call?
Yep.
How do you get onto it?
So on our website, there's a button right up front to become a member. And so there's no cost to become a member, but you have to sign up and then put all your information. There are certain things that we like to know: level of care, whether you need a caregiver, interests, medical things that we need to know about. So that's your registration, is that we know who you are, but no cost for that. There is a cost to attend our classes, but our goal is to keep the costs down as much as we can through grants and donations. But there are program fees that range between $15 to $20 per program, more if it's theater tickets or something that costs a little more.
And so then do we provide our own? So if we show up to a theater show,
Yep.
and I sign up, so then we just need to bring our child to the theater show.
Yeah. And it depends. We have some members who can be dropped off and some who require care constantly. And you can imagine how that goes. Our staff are not PCAs. So that's, if your son or daughter needs a PCA, then that person would have to stay with them.
I was wondering about that because I would, with my son, I definitely have to join along or have PCA, who I just secured yesterday. I'm very excited about that.
Beautiful.
Yeah, now it's the paperwork period. But
Yeah.
anyway, yeah. But yeah, I
That's-
was wondering about that. So you can't just drop them off like
No, but
some
the
parents get to, but yes.
And there's an art to that too, because we do want members to come with whatever care they need, but the goal is to be able to step back as much as is appropriate so they can do their own thing.
What would you say is your favorite event that you guys do, or what's like a good one that families might want to look into?
Yeah. That's easy because it's the one that like gets me right in the throat. I can feel it. The really big game is an annual adaptive baseball game that our members get to play in uniform with an announcer calling them up to bat, with coaches like Joe Mauer. He's a good friend of ours. So he's one of the coaches, and his former teammate, Tony Leisman. And it's an incredibly popular event. And the best part is the stands are full, not only of their own families, but community members. We invite all of our partners. And when you see these members who, again, have been carted to their sibling sporting events and aren't the ones that are getting out there and are first to be picked on the team, metaphorically, we don't pick teams, but they aren't feeling like they're in last or picked last, or they're up there and they hit home runs and they run the bases, whether they use a wheelchair or whatever they need to play. And the past couple of years, we have had students from Cretin-Derham Hall will be matched up and to help them and however they need it. But it is a day that will restore your belief that there's a lot of good in the world.
I love that. When is it? What time of year? This summer, probably.
It's
right?
coming up.
It is
When is
coming
it?
up. It's on August 7th this year.
Oh my goodness. I'm planning to
it's-
come.
Yeah, it's at Creighton-Durham Hall on the softball field. So it's official.
There's
It's
a great video on your
Yeah.
website, and I remember I have a problem where I get up early in the morning, and I do all the things that were in my brain, like, I wanted to go down that rabbit hole and that rabbit hole, and ended up on the HFC website a few months ago, and I watched that video, like, just tears.
It's good. That it really does capture it.
I
Really.
can't wait
So
till
we
Sadie
could-
turns 13.
So we could all come and watch. Like we could.
Absolutely.
And
Please.
is it a fundraiser too?
It hasn't always been, and it was started by non-HFC, a coach from St. Paul who he realized that there wasn't enough opportunities. He coached Little League and baseball, and it's like there's nothing for people with disabilities. So he started it, ran it for 10 years, and now we run it. It is number one an event for our members. That's always the center. But over the past few years, we have brought in some sponsors. It's first fun, but people like the Minnesota Twins support it, True Stone, Blaze, other organizations in the community that just love to come out and support our members. It's
Do you
fun.
sell tickets? No, it's just show up.
You just show up. And this year we have a fan zone. So there's food trucks and music and
Fun.
face painting and all of that. But again, it's just centered around our HFC members who are the stars of it.
That's awesome. I'm excited. I put it on the calendar this year. We just did a program where Felix was a part of helping new PTs in their doctorate program. He was the mock patient for their evaluation. And the woman who ran this program gave us a little tee and a baseball bat. And we've had these before. I've bought like probably 3 different iterations of these. But because this woman had a PT background, she knew exactly what to get. The gifts that she gave Felix were incredible. But Felix has now figured out that he can hit a tennis ball and the dog can go chase it,
Oh my goodness, was perfect.
bring it back to him. And they just have this little thing and it keeps going. But I'm like, you
Love
keep
it.
doing that, Felix. By the time you are, like,
Really big
you know,
game is in your future.
so he's
That's
training already.
Oh, I love that.
I live right by a park called Longfellow Park, and every summer there's a league of young adults who are living with different disabilities, and they will play softball games together. And I've gone and walked by, and we'll just sit and watch. Julian would be in his stroller, and there's so much joy. Everybody watching, the kids playing, of course, but everybody watching too. It's just like contagious. There's just like this
Yep.
whole energy field down the street of this feels so good. And yes, finally, because I know like I have an older kid, he's very athletic, and my younger kid, Julian, is always the spectator. And so that's why this game, as well as just like your whole organization of
Yep.
allowing kids like ours to participate. So I'm going to sign up today
Great. Oh, excited. I love
and
it.
to come on August 7th.
And Patty, your story about Rosemary and Pat, they started off small, and I think it just inspired me. I always think big, and I think that's my
Yeah.
problem. And then I have a problem getting started. And the walking club is easy. And Jen, your story of, oh, maybe there's kids in the neighborhood. Maybe we just need to post it on next door and say, hey, anybody else with a disability, let's just do a walking club, maybe in a mall because it's hot outside.
Maybe you just
Starting
need to
out and
put
doing
up
something
a
small.
lemonade stand, right? And
Highland Friendship Club started small, and I think now we just need to carry that message on. And so there are other moms that I'm sure in their different neighborhoods want to do
Yep.
something. And so I think we just need to take that message. We have the power to start something.
And it doesn't have to be at the beginning. This is going to be the curriculum, and this is the goals, and and you want to develop a strategic plan. We all want our kids to have friends. We just
Right.
want our friends, what that connection and how good it is for you. And it can be as simple as that. Just
Yeah.
make some friends.
well, I have one more question. Because you're Twin Cities based, right? Have you ever thought about branching out a little bit in some more rural areas?
Yes, a lot. It comes up a lot. Our mission is that as many teens and adults with disabilities as possible can have this opportunity to make friends and learn skills, and how to make that outreach and how to expand is a tough question, because the success of Highland Friendship Club has been because of our community. Pat and Rose have very deep roots, and our support is there. So we can take that model and we could bring it somewhere else, but we wouldn't have those deep roots. So it has to, I believe, come from within. What we have done quite a bit is talk to anyone in their own communities who want
Write a grant.
And I've had people say, you don't need to share all your secrets. So I'm like, they're not secrets.
Oh my gosh.
There are no secrets.
From source.
Absolutely. Every mistake we made, please let me tell you about it so you don't do it. But here's what has worked. So we have done that. We hope more of them pop up. We are surprised that there aren't more organizations like ours, but how to replicate it has been top of mind, but hard to figure out.
Yeah.
I know, Trum. I can just see your mind spinning.
Right? Oh, yeah. You'll have a follow-up call, I'm sure.
All the ideas.
I
All
love
the ideas
fun.
that we have, but the limited resources and time and energy as we're raising these kids. And so I am at least always in the present, thinking of today. I don't have a 5-year plan. I have today and tomorrow, and I have transportation, and I have paperwork for Julian and this and that. But it is a good message that if you have an idea, to go for it and try it, and maybe it won't stick. But obviously you guys have done something correct, and you've figured it out, and you're still here this many years later. So congratulations.
I see you still have the walking club on the calendar.
Yes, we do.
That's a staple, right?
Yeah, it is still there, going strong.
Thanks so much for being here. Thanks for being a part of Highland Friendship Club and Gillette and all that you do. It's awesome. We just love to learn. And sometimes this conversational format is just so much easier. But somebody can throw in an earbud and listen, right?
Yep. Yeah. It's like you hear about something, but until you really hear about it, does it resonate for you and move you to do something? Thank you so much.
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you. Yeah, because I wouldn't have signed up as the member, right?
Yeah.
Until you were like, no, it's just a profile, really. I just need a profile, and then you can sign up for whatever. So let's just make it easy. So thank you for sharing all the information.
You bet. And thanks for helping us spread the word. Thank you.
If you liked today's topic or have comments, questions, or thoughts on what else you would like us to cover, please visit rarelyfamiliar.com or connect with us on all the social channels. Resources will be listed in our show notes, and we'll be back next time with another discussion around living life successfully with rare medical complexities. Thanks for joining us on the journey.